Hello and welcome to the PC Security channel. Today we'll be taking a look at Cylance, which is one of the new AI-driven threat protection engines, next-gen AVs, whatever you like to call it, and it's owned by BlackBerry apparently. Despite the fact that I get quite a few requests to test products like these, I usually don't do it because there isn't an easy free trial that they provide. However, in this case, one of my subscribers reached out to me and gave me a copy and really wanted to see it tested, so I was like, fair enough, let's give it a shot. So as usual, I've loaded it up on my VM. One of the first things that surprised me about this product was how simplistic it is. Like, it literally just has this one small window that says Cylance Smart Antivirus. And that's basically it. Threats, events, that is all you get on the local interface. Now it does have a dashboard which is separate, however I cannot really show you that because I believe you need a separate account for that. Since I did not buy this myself, I don't think I can log in. But the product is installed and it's fully functional, so that's all we need for the test. The only issue I can think of is that I can't really disable it in any way, so we'll just have to drag our files in and see what happens. For this test, I have a new collection of classified malware that I grabbed a few minutes ago. We have 1536 items, so around about 1500, that's what I'm aiming for these days. It's large enough to give us an accurate detection ratio, but small enough that the test doesn't take forever. Now if we take a look, 1535, it always says one more when it's moving because it counts the folder as well. So one of the first things we figured out is that it works entirely on execution, which is nice. I mean, that's the way I kind of like it these days. Which also means we should have no trouble with Malx, unless it decides Malx is malicious and tries to terminate it like Bitdefender did in my last video. For those of you who are new to the channel, Malx is a little script I use to run all the files in the folder one by one, start each process as a new thread. It's essentially a way to automate running all of these files. So we can see how the product performs proactively. Malx also automatically tells us how many files are blocked, which is great. So we're gonna say that real-time protection is turned on, as it is. By the way, for those of you who are curious about the Netflix.exe thing, that's just a ransomware I tried to load just to make sure that it was working. So it's not like a false positive or anything. We've started with the test. So far it seems everything has been blocked. We're starting to get notifications now about files being quarantined. The test is also running at a very steady pace, so that's something that's good to see. We've had no hiccups so far, and if we open Task Manager, fairly low CPU usage. Cylance taking up 11%, that's not too bad. I'm guessing most of the processing is taking place in the cloud on their servers, which is why we're not getting a lot of activity here. I did notice the CPU spike there. It went up to 100% for a few moments, but it's likely more just the malware trying to execute than Cylance being too much of an issue here. The process also seems entirely automated. So far I haven't gotten any actionable alerts. Looks like we have a setup application that went through. Just gonna go ahead and install it. Seems part of it was blocked. Have a couple of pages trying to load, but nothing significant so far. More files being quarantined. To be honest, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised by the high detection so far, partly because a lot of these samples do include PUPs. Something that you should always note when talking about AI products, obviously, or any AV product in general, is also the false positive rate, which is something we'll talk about a little bit later once we're done with the initial part of the test. But that will tell us how accurate these detections actually are, or if they're just blocking pretty much every executable file. Now, I have made a separate video talking just about whitelisting solutions and what I think about them. I highly recommend that you check that out. TLDR, if you're not detecting malware, if you're not differentiating between malware and legitimate applications, it's kind of pointless. Windows UAC does that anyway, like it warns you when something wants elevated privileges. I don't think that's a great model for an AV application. I think an AV application should be able to accurately distinguish between malware and legitimate programs. That's what you're running it for. Whether or not Cylance does that, we will figure out once we are done with the false positive test. But at the moment, it seems like, at least when it comes to blocking malicious files, it's doing that part quite well. Now I'm noticing that Cylance seems to be taking up a lot of memory. I'm guessing that's because it's trying to cache some of the files or maintain some kind of a database while communicating with the cloud servers. It shouldn't be an issue on any modern system though. 350 megabytes is really, like, that's cents and pennies in 2019. I just thought it was an interesting observation to make in terms of how the program operates, but in terms of resource usage, you should totally be fine. The main thing is it's not hogging the CPU too much. Even when it's taxed and it has to do a lot of work, the system is fully operational, so it's not poorly designed in that sense. Also, in case anyone's curious, the system we're running over here is an i7-8750H, so it's 6-core, 12-thread CPU. In terms of RAM, we have 16 gigabytes on the host, so those are the host specifications. The VM, I believe, has 4 gigs of RAM. And hey, we're done with the test, it seems. All files were executed, and we have a proactive detection of 97.59%. At the moment, though, I'm seeing quite a few processes in memory. We have malware 516.exe. Buddha.exe, that's interesting. We have some kind of spiritual transformation going on over here. Malware 1280, that sounds like a GPU name. Malware 14, so quite a few processes. In fact, it seems the files that did run, they've all successfully managed to stay in memory. Usually a lot of them just terminate or die, but in this case we have quite a lot of stuff active on the system. So what are we going to do about it? First, I will just install everything that we have here. Yeah, sure, run everything, why not? Okay, this window is stuck, that's great. Maybe I should just close this. No, it still won't die. Homeville.exe, that's nice. But yeah, besides a stuck setup window, our system is fairly operational. Now I'm just going to restart the system. Oh no, look what Windows is up to. Of course that setup window isn't going to close. Getting Windows ready. Do not turn off your computer. But I'm on a VM. I can do that, can I? I'm really tempted, but no. I don't want the entire system to crash because I tried to escape a Windows update and jeopardize the entire test. Woohoo, we're logging in. I'm glad that didn't take forever. Let's see if we still have any malware applications starting up. Or if that was all just a ruse. I'll almost be disappointed if we don't have a single process that made a startup item. Come on, we've got to get something. Maybe a casino app, maybe a gambling app, illegal application, hack tool, something. Oh, it's taking forever to log on, so, well, maybe we do have stuff on the system. Alright, we're finally in. Now I'm going to try and delete all the files because we're not interested in these anymore. Some of this is still active. So I cannot delete it. Great. So it's just one file, malware2080.exe. Now one thing I did notice is that the system is really slow for some reason. It was fine on the last boot, but now it's messing around. Oh crap, stuff is happening. I got a jump scare there. Oh yeah, it happened again. What's going on? Oh, okay, new files have been detected and quarantined. So it's still doing its... But this is where our second opinion scanners step in. Just gonna drag in the folder. And we'll start by running Hitman Pro. First I'll just run CCleaner just to clean out some of the traces. Get rid of temp files, we don't want to look at those. Hitman Pro does have a habit of picking up a lot of those cookies and traces. That's why I always run CCleaner before that, because I don't want a messy results window. Pro tip. Now let's see if we've got any baddies. I'll also install Malwarebytes in the meantime. And we'll run Norton PowerRacer as well. The application utorrent.exe was quarantined. Some people will not be happy about that. Oh no, I don't want to do a rootkit scan. Apply, go. Haha, so it looks like Hitman Pro has found a ton of stuff over here. Malware2080.exe. Service host. Ooh, system 32. This is nasty. Ouch. For a moment, I actually thought that Cylance hadn't done too bad, but look at this stuff. And I'm not surprised. The system started up really slow, and then we had the jump scare from some of the things popping up. This, by the way, is I believe, the VirtualBox display adapter, so don't worry about that. This is not malware, but the rest of it looks like it is. And utorrent.exe, I mean, I don't think this is a legitimate version of uTorrent. We don't have anything installed. It's just probably some kind of Trojan masquerading as that. And this confirms my suspicions. And it's running at startup as well. And it's clearly not uTorrent, whatever it is. Let's see what Malwarebytes is going to find. Norton's still processing data. I hate the GUI for Norton. Why does it have to process data 20 times? Like, why can't it just have a linear, sensible progress bar like everybody else? I hate that infinite cycle of doom where it just keeps scanning, keeps removing, keeps scanning, keeps removing. Good lord. See, this is so much more sensible, right? You have step-by-step thing. Or go like Hitman Pro, you just have one linear step and then you have another linear step. Why do you have to, like, how does this make any sense? GUI developers, help me here. This is the part where I wish I had gigabit internet. Alright, Hitman Pro is done. Results don't look good, obviously. We have quite a few active malware samples on the system. There's a registry key modification, but mostly I'm concerned about this and all of this stuff. And it's not even one of those cases where it's debatable whether or not the malware is active and doing anything, because we just noticed the system was slow to start up. And then we had the jump scares of some random Windows 98 window flashing on the screen. So I think that's bad enough. That's bad enough to give anybody nightmares. So we don't want that. That's a horrible result. Norton PowerRacer found a ton of stuff as well. The optimizer, it turns out, is some kind of PUP2. So this is actually not looking good at all. We have some other files that we didn't find before. USB.exe, huh? Just from the name itself, like, I can tell these are not good files. So it detects the registry modifications as well, and yeah, the srv host.exe file. I'm guessing this kind of trying to look like svc host, which is a legitimate Windows file. Malwarebytes is still going, but damn, Cylance. Nice smooth test, but you missed a lot of stuff, buddy. Especially when you're claiming to be next gen, you're getting outdone by traditional good old AVs. Like, you're getting outdone by Norton. It's been a long time since I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like more than 10 results in Norton PowerRacer. Like, PowerRacer usually just detects like 1 or 2 files. Malwarebytes has identified 13 so far, and I'm not surprised. Malwarebytes does count all the individual traces separately, so we'll probably end up with a pretty big tally. Now, while this is going, I think we can take a look at a few legitimate files and do a bit of a false positive test. Let me see if I can find some of that stuff. Yay! So we're gonna have some fun over here. So if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm trying to run files that should not be blocked, and we'll see if Cylance blocks them. Ah, it does. Look at that. GG AI engine. Well, the name kind of says it all there, isn't it? This is just a really old program that's supposed to do encrypted communication. A lot of AI engines fall for this because, again, they're not using very robust methods to detect malware. That's kind of the downside of using very loose classification techniques. I mean, all companies do it, but if that's the only thing you're doing, that's not exactly a bonus. At least it hasn't blocked Process Hacker. That's a relief. Oh, wait, it did. Did it just delete Process Hacker? Because I had it running. So maybe it didn't delete it because it was running, but now that... Oh my goodness. I don't know if this was blocked by malware or something else, but... So this one was quarantined. Okay, let's try grabbing and running Process Hacker again. So we'll go into Lab. And Tools. Let's try grabbing some of these tools. This is Process Explorer. This is Process Hacker. These are all legitimate programs. Right, so it blocks Process Hacker, but it managed to let in a ton of malware into the system. Oh my goodness, I totally understand why some people just completely hate these new next-gen AVs now. Like, seriously? Come on. At least it's not blocking everything. I mean, it lets Process Explorer run. But yeah, that's still quite bad. It's just that Malwarebytes is starting to pick up all the stuff that Cylance has in quarantine as well. So there's some way I can delete these. Again, the amount of control this program gives is also appalling. Like, you can't do anything from the desktop application. For everything, you have to go to the dashboard. I don't even know if you can delete the files that are quarantined. Now, one of the reasons I guess they do have quite a few corporate clients is that it works very well in terms of automation. It works in the background quite well. It's very subtle. It doesn't create a lot of visual noise or distraction. But even from a UI standpoint, this is not the best UI I can imagine. And if it's not doing a great job protection-wise, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I just, like, already I don't think I can recommend this. Oh, dear. Looks like Malwarebyte is going to go through the entire quarantine. I think it's fair enough that we can stop the scan now. I'll just pause it, and we'll look at the identified threats. Let's see. We've got the same stuff, program files, Homeville. More of that. We've got a bunch of tasks. Interesting. So we've got adware, DNS unlocker, we've got Trojan trickbot. Maybe that's the one that's giving us the jump scares. Then we've got more adware, more generic malware. This is a suspicious file. This is srvhost.exe. Pretty sure this is not adware. It's probably a Trojan. And then we have the fake uTorrent application. Again, likely a Trojan. Then more of this DNS unlocker stuff, which, well, you can think whatever you want of it. But then there's the PUP optional optimizer. Honestly, I'm not too annoyed by the PUPs being missed. I guess that's okay. But the fact that it misses all of this stuff over here, that is a huge concern. And also the fact that it blocks process hacker just seems like a step back for me. I mean, of course, I'll give you some background info here as well. Pretty much every AV company has some kind of AI or statistical clustering. Malware analysts use it all the time, but that's usually not the only thing that goes into deployment because it's not very accurate. So just because some company says it's AI or fancy doesn't mean it's necessarily the best. So when you look at a product page like this, it seems like they're doing something fancy, high-tech, new that other AVs don't do, but in reality, visuals don't really tell you how sophisticated their detection technology is. It's the results that will tell you that. And for Cylance, the results don't look too promising. Please like and share the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe to the PC Security channel. This is Leo. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, stay informed, stay secure.